Shalom, shalom, Israel's brothers, Abba Yahweh coming back at you with another cold cut. Like to give our honor and glory and praise to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. And we're going to dive right into it, man. The tongue has many bodies. The tongue has killed a lot of strong men. The tongue has thrown down kingdoms, strong kingdoms, man. Just based off what you can say, you know, you can cause death, you can cause life, you can build somebody up, you can destroy somebody. All that comes out of your mouth. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 28. And I'm going to start at verse number 12. If thou blow the spark, it shall burn. If thou spit upon it, it shall be quenched. And both these come out of thy mouth. So a spark represents a contention that can happen, an argument, right? That can happen. If you blow the spark, if you add wind, if you add to the spark, it's gonna blow up. And the fire's gonna keep getting bigger and bigger, right? But if you spit upon it, meaning if you quench it, then guess what? Based off what you say, you can pacify a situation, you can die a situation down, say let's kill it, you change the subject, or you keep feeding into it. Both of those things can come out of your lips. Verse number 13. Curse the whisper and double tongue, for such have destroyed many that were at peace. And there's people that be at peace, and then you have a person that talebears, you have a person that comes out and says things that's not true, right? False accusations. Those things can disquiet many that were at peace. So your tongue is very powerful. What you say is very powerful. A lot of the proverbs, a lot of things we read in Sirach, according to what you say, it gives a lot of counsel on what you say. It gives a lot of counsel on not saying certain things at certain times, because it's very important. Jump down to verse 17, and this whole thing is good. And it says, the stroke of the whip maketh marks in the flesh, but the stroke of the tongue breaketh the bones, man. Your tongue is like a sword, man. Your tongue is a weapon. You can break bones. The Lord said, hey, what they say in the word, sticks and stones, break my bones, but words will never hurt you. Hey, that's a lie. Words do hurt people. Words break up friendships. Words break up. Hey, there's times where, based on what somebody said, it broke up congregations, man. Cause strife, causing discord, causing councils to happen, man. People not in this truth anymore based off what another person may have said, right? You got to be careful on what you say, especially the men of the Lord, especially men that represent Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh day in and day out, every single day, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. Your Lord is going to have your words in the balance. Real quick, let me go to Matthew 12 and 36. Yeah, we want to be careful what we say in front of man, but the Lord is going to have your words in a balance. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 12 and verse 36. All your complainings, all the murmurings you've done, right? In Matthew 12 and 36. But I say unto you that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give account thereof in the day of judgment. For by thy words thou shalt be justified, and by thy words thou shalt be condemned. Hey, your words are so powerful, even the Lord's going to add that in judgment, man. What you said, what you didn't say, what you could have said. Why'd you say this at this point in time? And guess what? All those things going to be held in a balance. Your words are very powerful. Your words actually declare what you were thinking as well. That's why you don't want to utter all your mind. All right, let me go to the book of Luke, chapter 6. All right, this is the book of Luke, chapter 6. And verse number 45. A good man out of the good treasure of his heart bringeth forth that which is good, right? Out of your mind. An evil man out of the evil treasure of his heart bringeth forth that which is evil. For of the abundance of the heart his mouth speaketh. So you can tell what a person's thinking based off what they're saying. If a brother is always talking to you about work, about just acquiring money, getting money all day, money this, what you're going to do with the money he going to get, that's all he's going to think about. That's all he's going to say. But if a brother's talking to you about, we're thinking about opening up some camp locations here. We're thinking about, I got to print out these flyers. And man, that remind me, I got to check on that brother out in Houston. And I got to talk to this brother. And that brother's thinking about doing the work of the Most High. You know what he's thinking. So based off what you're thinking, or based off what you say, you can declare what a man or woman may be thinking. You always talking about another person or how this person does this, that, and then that person's always on your mind. Right. So we want to make sure we don't just ramble on, out of our own heart, just ramble on anything, man. Right. Because what you're saying, it declares what you think. That's why the Lord said this. Let's go to Sirach 28. Let's jump down to verse number 25. And weigh thy words in a balance, and make a door and bar for thy mouth. Beware thou slide not by it, lest thou fall before him that lieth in wait. So you don't want to you want to have discipline over your words. That's why the Lord said make a door and bar over thy mouth. You want to shut that door over your mouth at certain times. Sometimes, you open up your mouth and you speak wisdom. You don't just hold back, right? Because there's certain people that will try to lie in wait and catch you in your words. They did that with Yahushua. They did that with Paul. They're trying to lie in wait to try to catch you up in your words, man. So you really want to be careful and be cognizant of what you're saying and what you're not saying. Let's go to the book of Sirach, chapter 20. Because the tongue has bodies. This Sirach, chapter 20, and verse number 5. There is one that keepeth silence and is found wise, and another by much babbling becometh hateful. So there's one that keeps silence. When he opens up his mouth, then guess what? Now people are listening. Now people are locked in. This brother and sister don't really talk much. Okay, she about to say something. What's she gonna say? That's wise. That's a good idea. Hey, I didn't think of that, man. Hey, we gotta take heed to what that sister or what that brother may be saying. Then a brother that's just talking all his life doesn't stop. The brother doesn't gasp for air. When the brother talks, he doesn't gasp for air. He runs on sentences. You don't know where the comma or the period is at. The brother, he talks about one thing, diverts to the next thing, talks about something yesterday, then about something tomorrow, looks at his shoes, talks about the shoelaces, and then finishes up the point that he was saying. You're confused. You don't even know what he's talking about anymore. Now he's going to become hateful because you don't want to even have a conversation. You don't even want to hear folly from that brother's mouth. So that's why the Lord said, what? There is one that keepeth silence and is found wise. Because that person, when they finally speak and they speak wisdom, you're going to be more inclined to hear that person than the next brother that's just babbling all day. Right? And another by much babbling becometh hateful. Some man holdeth his tongue because he have not to answer, and some keepeth silence knowing his time. So there's a time and place for everything. It's not always a time to speak. All right, you got somebody, you got a funeral. We always make this analogy. You got a funeral, and then there's somebody speaking on the podium. That's not your time to say what you had for breakfast today and how it makes your stomach hurt. You're letting everybody know your stomach hurts, and this man is trying to host a funeral for the crying family. You over here, my stomach hurt. Y'all got a bathroom? That's not the time, right? So you want to make sure that you know your time, right? And it says, a wise person will know. Verse 7, a wise man will hold his tongue till he see opportunity, but a babbler and a fool will regard no time. He that useth many words shall be abhorred, and he that taketh to himself authority therein shall be hated. So you want to hold your tongue till you see opportunity. Opportunity for what? Let's go to the book of Sirach. The book of Job. Let's go to the book of Job. See what I want. Opportunity to speak the words of the Most High. Precept escapeth me. Let's get another one. It's Sirach chapter 4. And we're going to start at verse number 24. And it says, for by speech, wisdom shall be known, and learning by the word of the tongue. So until you see opportunity to declare wisdom, until you see opportunity to have others, you're spewing forth righteous knowledge that may be beneficial for somebody that may be hearing it, right? Then you shouldn't really want to say anything, right? Because you may say something that's utter folly. You may say something that offends somebody. You may say something that may be right, just not at the right time, right? It's an opportunity to speak. And once you start thinking about it like that, you're not going to be just babbling your whole life away and then becoming hateful. Because when you speak, you learn by what people say. You learn what people, by the words that people are declaring, right? Let me read it again. Verse number 23. I'll start verse 23. And refrain not to speak when there is occasion to do good, and hide not thy wisdom in her beauty. So when it's time to speak wisdom, brother may be eating some pork. Hey, bro, don't do that. You know pork is unclean. How you know that? Well, we read in the Bible, God that made all the animals. You believe in God? Yeah. He made the pork unclean. Really? Where it say that? You open up the verse, and now you're declaring wisdom, and now you just saved his life. Instead of, brother about to eat pork, you say, hey, bro, hey, check out my website. I got a website. Really? And he start eating the pork. You say, yeah, I got a website. You know what I'm saying? You show him the website, but you didn't stop that brother from sin. That wasn't a good time to speak if you weren't going to stop that brother from sin. So that's why the Lord said, hide not thy wisdom in her beauty. You want to show forth the wisdom. And you don't want to destroy either. And we're going to get into that. Verse 24, for by speech wisdom shall be known, and learning by the word of the tongue. Let's get another precept. Let's go to the book of 2 Samuel. This is the book of 2 Samuel, chapter 15, and verse number 3. Let's see what Absalom did. Let's see how he used his words. He used his words in a wicked sense, in a wicked manner. And it says, I'm going to start verse 2. And Absalom rose up early and stood beside the way of the gate. And it was so that when any man that had a controversy came to the king for judgment, then Absalom called unto him and said, of what city art thou? And he said, thy servant is one of the tribes of Israel. So these men, they had matters to bring up to King David, but King David, he's busy. He has other things he has going on. It may be a long wait time. Absalom waited by the gate, and he caught those men so he can give them counsel. Verse 3, and Absalom said unto him, see, thy matters are good and right, but there is no man deputed of the king to hear thee. And Absalom said, moreover, oh, that I were made a judge in the land, that every man which hath any suit or cause might come unto me, and I would do him justice. Now, is he sincere about that? No, but he has an agenda going on. So what he's saying is, he said, man, if there was any man set up to hear the cause of the people, hey, I would do that, man. If I was king, I would be able to do that. Put it in his mind that, hey, maybe he should be king. Maybe he would be doing better than his father. That's what he's really trying to say. Verse 5, and it was so that when any man came nigh unto him to do him obeisance, he put forth his hand and took him and kissed him. And on this manner did Absalom to all Israel that came to the king for judgment. So Absalom stole the hearts of the men of Israel. So based off the words that he said, based off what he did to these people, he stole the hearts of the men of Israel based off his words. And that word stole is not tied into something good. When you steal something, it's usually evil. It's always evil. You're stealing something that don't belong to you. Based off his words, he stole the minds of Israel that was knit with David, and he took it for himself, man, based off what he was saying. You really want to be careful with your words, man. You could pull down the Lord have destroyed the thrones of many proud princes. And based off what you say, the Lord will have that in the balance. Let's go to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1. It's the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1, and let's start at verse number 7. Verse 6, for wisdom is a loving spirit and will not acquit a blasphemer of his words. For the Most High is a witness of his reigns and a true beholder of his heart and a hearer of his tongue. The Lord hears hears what you say. The Lord's not going to acquit you based off what you said, right? Verse 7, for the spirit of the Lord filleth the world, and that which containeth all things have knowledge of the voice. Out of all the billions of people on this earth, the Lord knows every distinct voice on the earth. You think the Lord? Oh man, that's Zavala. No, wait. That sound like that brother. Maybe that brother. Hold on. Play that prayer back one time. The Lord listening. Yeah, no, it's that brother. No, the Lord knows your voice. He's not guessing your voice. The Lord's asking the angel to throw your prayer back one more time, like it's a damn rap, man. No, the Lord, he knows your voice. And what? Verse 8, therefore he that speaketh unrighteous things cannot be hid. You can't be hidden when you speak unrighteous things. The Lord's not going to mistake your voice for somebody else and judge that person of your words, man. You can't be hid based off what you say, right? And it says, neither shall vengeance when it punisheth pass by him, for inquisition shall be made into the counsels of the ungodly, and the sound of his word shall come unto the Lord, for the manifestation of his wicked deeds. So not just what you say, the sound of your words, your voice, everything that encompassed what you said, the Lord is going to hear that, man, in its entire purity. So there will be no escape. For the ear of jealousy heareth all things, and the noise of murmurings is not hid. Therefore, beware of murmuring, which is unprofitable, and refrain your tongue from backbiting. For there is no word so secret that shall go for naught, and the mouth that belieth slayeth the soul. And guess what? The Lord said all that. Hey, If you speaking unrighteous things, you're gonna die. And if you keep holding on to that and not repent from that, you're gonna die. There's no word so secret the Lord not gonna hear you. You complaining. You complain to a person about another person, you're backbiting, you're tail bearing, you're gossiping, you're envious, you're this, you're hating your brother in secret, you're hating your sister in secret. All of those things that you're saying, you thought it was, let's keep this between me and you. It's not kept between that you and that person. It's the Lord hears it. It's between me and you and millions and hundreds of millions of angels watching right now, and the cloud of witnesses, and the Most High, and Yahushua. They all hear what you're saying. So there's nothing so secret. There is no between me and you, man. Keep this between me and you, and you pinky promise. And nobody hears it. The Most High, as soon as he heard that, the Lord turned his head, and it's between them two. I can't hear that. The Lord hears everything, every single thing. So if you're using your tongue for evil, backbiting, malignity, and all manner of wickedness, the Lord is going to judge you for that. Let's get another precept. This is the book. Oh, that's not what I want. Let's get the classic. Let's get the book of James, chapter 3. All right, this is James chapter 3 and 6. And the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity. So is the tongue among our members, and it defileth the whole body. And setteth on fire the course of nature, and is set on fire of hell. For every kind of beast, and of birds, and of serpents, and of things in the sea is tamed, and have been tamed of mankind. But the tongue can no man tame. It is unruly evil, full of deadly poison. So the tongue is a hard member to control. That's why the Lord said, put a door and bar over thy mouth, man. Control when to speak and when not to speak. Man has tamed animals. Man has tamed different wild things of this life, but man can't even control his own tongue. It's a world of sin. So think something that's in your body, that's a world of sin. You want to pay close attention to that, because as I said earlier, the tongue has bodies, man. The tongue has killed a lot of people. Hey, the tongue can build up people. You can motivate. You can exhort. Let's go to Acts 14. The Lord, you want to use your words for exhortation, learning, teaching, right? Declaring wisdom. It's Acts 14 and 22, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, and that we must through much tribulation enter into the kingdom of God. So exhortation comes by the tongue, man. Exhortation, you teaching comes by the tongue. A lot of things come out of the mouth. So like I said, you want to pay very close attention and spare your words. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 17 when you need to. Proverbs 17 and 27. He that hath knowledge spareth his words, and a man of understanding is of an excellent spirit. Even a fool, when he holdeth his peace, is counted wise, and he that shutteth his lips is esteemed a man of understanding. So that's what you got to understand. All right? It's not always about what you say. It is, and how you say it, but it's when you say it as well. When are you declaring that wisdom? When are you teaching? Is it a good time to do it? All of these things, that's why people always say in the world, hey, you got 2 ears and 1 mouth, or think before you speak. That's biblical. You want to think before you speak. You want to use your ears more than your mouth, and you will fare well. It's Proverbs 18 and 6. A fool's lips enter into contention, and his mouth calleth for strokes. Yeah, a fool's lips can get into an argument. The tongue is a sword. What is an argument? It's a battle between tongues. It's a battle between people's words. Who can get the one up? Who can hurt the other person the worst? That's in the battle, right? Who can hurt the other person the worst? Who can kill that person? You're trying to do that. And guess what? You can kill a person with your tongue. You can break friendships. You can cause people to commit suicide based off what you say. That a lot of these Edomites in the world, they hear something negative. They hear you. See, Jake, you can take a yo mama joke. You can, I'm about to joan you, I'm about to flame you. Jake, you may be sad for a little bit, but you say, you know what? When I talk to man, hey, I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna say that. Jake can take that. You say a yo mama joke to an Edomite, he may kill himself, man. He may die based off the spirit you're dealing with, man. So you want to understand your tongue can kill people. All right? Your tongue can build up people. Your tongue can get into contention and arguments. And what does it say? It says what? And his mouth calleth for strokes. What is a stroke? You stroke a whip. right? So you get your ass whooped. No, just going to plainly say it. Your mouth can get you into an argument. You get into a fight, and you get beat up because of what you said. Or, you know, you got other people calling uncles, dads, and brothers, and cousins, and nephews, and now you're getting chased around. You getting jumped based off what you said. Hey, a lot of these rappers, hey, in Chicago and a lot of these other places, but chiefly I know in Chicago, you start dissing people's dead homies, man. You gotta count your days, because they coming to get you based off where you at. You can hide for a period of time, but you start dissing, you know, people start dissing ops and dissing people's homies, and guess what? Now you're calling for strokes. You're calling death unto you. Let's get that back into Wisdom of Solomon. That you got to be careful what you say. You know, this RP this person, and you're saying this about this person's cousin that died, and now you're wondering why people keep rolling past your block and ski masks, waiting for you, asking about you, seeing what time you get off. All I said was this. I didn't do anything. I just said it. It don't matter. It's Wisdom of Solomon chapter 1, because you're calling death unto you. It's Wisdom of Solomon 1 and 12. But ungodly men with their works and words called it to them. What is the it? The it is death. With works and words, you call death to you. For when they thought to have it their friend, they consumed to naught, and made a covenant with it, because they are worthy to take part with it. And the Lord said, if you die based off, off what you say, you're worthy to die for that, man. You call death unto you. You made death your friend. You speak death instead of speaking life and truth. You speak death and lies, man. Like the so-called white man in these nations, you speak death and lies all day, and you called it unto. And that's why you were consumed by it. And the Lord said you're worthy to take part with it. So be careful what you say. You can get wrapped up in bad situations off your words, man. The tongue has many bodies. I like to give all honor and glory and praise to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua and Ben Israel Mighty Strong. Shalom.